Magandang umaga sa ating masisipag na MPC members. Kasama na natin si Chief Presidential Legal Counsel and Presidential Spokesperson Salvador Panelo.
Good
sir.
morning, MPC. Game of Thrones. No.
Raymond.
Sir, good morning on a holiday, on a Holy Monday. Sir, balikan ko lang yung previously parang nabanggit ni Pangulong Duterte to tax yung simbahan. Kasi merong yung tawag dito, merong report kaugnay sa yung property ng Catholic Church sa Sorsogon, yung specifically yung Our Lady of Peña Francia Seminary ay ipinahiram daw, ipinagamit, pinaupa doon sa campaign sortie ni gubernatorial candidate Chis Escudero at nagbayad sila. So, hindi pa yung ganitong mga pagpapahiram or pagkakitaan ng simbahan, hindi ba sila dapat required magbayad na rin sila ng buwis?
Well, under the Constitution, hindi. Pero siguro, kung yung mga framers will consider that, nasa kanila yun. Sa ngayon,
So talagang
tax exempt sila.
hindi lang sa real property tax, kundi lahat, even yung income generating programs or activities ng simbahan, hindi. Kasi baka billion-billion yung supposedly ay nakakolekta doon sa income generating activities ng church.
Basta ang doktrina dyan, tax exempt sila.
Okay, sir.
Okay, questions, MPC? Joseph.
Sir, any updates on the budget?
Wala pa. Pinag-aaralan pa.
So could the president sign it today? No. Malabo.
Wala, walang feed, walang info.
Walang feedback. Okay. Sir, can we go to China? Former Secretary Albert Rosario said that it's time to unshelve.
O hindi ba issued already a statement?
Yeah, but we need for soundbite purposes, sir.
Wala pa ba soundbite?
TV, sir.
Or
I'll
TV.
rephrase the question. This strong statements coming from Malacañang. What does this have the imprimatur of the president, sir?
Kung hindi ba sinabi na ni Presidente na don't touch our properties there.
Sir, by invoking the arbitral tribunal, what do we hope to do?
Well, according to Mr. Del Rosario, we have to unshelve his word. The arbitral ruling. In the first place, we never shelved it. As we said repeatedly before, since no foreign force seem or appear not to be persuaded to assist us in the enforcement of the arbitral ruling, and neither can we, on our own, by force, enforce the same. So while we have trading relations with China, we opted not to make any armed action to enforce the arbitral ruling because it may trigger an unwanted armed conflict that will cost thousands of lives of our countrymen as well as destruction to our properties. But even assuming that this was shelved per perception of Mr. Del Rosario, the fact alone that we invoked the arbitral ruling and asserted our sovereignty and right to the exclusive economic zone, that effectively removes it from the shelf, assuming that there was indeed shelving. Moreover, as I said in my statement, Mr. Del Rosario would be the least person to make such a statement, he acts as if he did not vastly contribute to the present situation we're in, because if we will believe, and they have not refuted the article of Bobby Tiglao, he was responsible by naively ordering the withdrawal without even the consent and permission of his president, Ninoy Aquino, withdrawing the armed vessel in that area. And that made the present situation we're in now. So we hope that his pretended patriotism and feigned righteousness should not get the better of him.
Sir, what changed for the palace? In
There
terms of
was
the
no
situation?
change. We've been saying that our statements in the past were studied, or rather studied responses or calibrated responses. We could not immediately make any statement on any report vis-a-vis the presence of vessels or any act of harassment until we validate them. It is only when we validate them that we make our diplomatic protest. And if they insist, then we make strong statements against it.
Just one last point, sir. See, Secretary Lorenzana said that it is the Chinese that are creating trouble in the West Philippine Sea. This was in response to the statement of the Chinese government that the U.S. and other countries are stirring up trouble. From your perspective, who is stirring the pot?
That is why I said in my statement that we urge China to avoid any acts that will be considered as harassing our fishermen in that area, or that might provoke hostility, and it can even affect the bilateral relations between two countries.
Sige, sir, yan muna.
Follow-up, Raymond?
Sir, pero di ba parang the China and to Mr. Xi Jinping in particular, parang they are not honoring what they have promised or committed to the president to de-escalate the tension at the South China Sea. So di ba parang would you urge Mr. Xi Jinping and the China to honor their words sa mga bilateral talks they had with the president?
We already did. In my latest statement, I said we urge China to respect the arbitral ruling. I already did that.
So, what or how can you assess China now in a matter of trust and confidence, considering what they are saying is in contrary or contrast to what they are doing actually at the South China Sea?
Well, my view on that is that since they've been claiming that it's theirs, necessarily they would do some acts that will be consistent with their position. But as we said earlier, as far as we're concerned, there has been an arbitral ruling issued by a tribunal based on the law on the seas and accepted by international law. So we feel that we have a judgment which has a stamp of permanence. It cannot be taken away from us, and therefore they should respect it, although they do not believe in it.
Sir, lastly, with these more aggressive acts by the Chinese government of the South China Sea and even into our exclusive economic zone in Pag-asa Island, parang don't you see the need of more U.S. troops presence and more balikatan exercises?
Oh, right now they are having these military exercises. They're there right now.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, may follow-up sa China. Ina?
Hi, sir. Sir, how can you say again that the arbitral ruling was never shelved when the president himself earlier on in his term would often say that he will raise the arbitral ruling in due time? In fact, meron din pong statement before ang dating presidential spokesman saying that the president will deal with the arbitral ruling in due course, and I quote, not right now, but in the right time.
It doesn't mean it has been shelved. If you say not right now, it's still there. You can invoke it any time
Okay.
at our pleasure
Um,
and convenience.
Does this mean that we can expect the president himself to finally raise itong arbitral ruling with China, especially considering that he will be visiting and
Effectively,
having...
his previous statement earlier, when he said, "Do not touch our property, and if you do any harm to our soldiers, we will respond in kind." That effectively has already made a very strong assertion of sovereignty and statement
Is that also, are we also supposed
relative to the arbitral ruling.
Exactly. Are we, that's my question, sir. Are we also supposed to take it as the president invoking the arbitral ruling when he said that?
Exactly, yes.
Okay. And lastly, sir, last week you talked about giving China reasonable time to respond doon sa sinabi ni Pangulo about laying off Pag-asa. Can you give us what's the status of the
I
Chinese
think they
vessels?
already responded. In fact, I responded to them in kind when they said that it's ours by historical so-and-so.
So clearly, hindi po positive yung naging reaction ng China. Their vessels are still there, if that's the case. So what are you gonna do about it now?
But they also said that we should resolve this in bilateral negotiations. So that's the good news there. Well, they say historically that it's ours, but let's talk. The spokesman said that too.
That's
And that's why we also will welcome that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, may follow-up sa China. Chona, you. Sir, anong kinakailangan factor na dapat i-consider ni Presidente para igiit na yung ruling despite kasi nung mga warning niya and yung harassment cases dun sa area, parang hindi naman yun pinapansin ng China.
Kasi dapat i-maintain natin yung peace and equilibrium doon sa lugar na yun. Wag nila munang pakialaman yung hindi dapat nilang pakialaman.
So,
Sa ngayon, nag-uusap tayo. Saka we're supposed to be friends. So, let's be friendly first. Pag-usapan natin.
paano nga
Since
yun?
they're open to negotiation, that will depend on how the talks will proceed. We have to forge a mutually satisfactory solution to the conflict in that area based on the directives of each constitution as well as the aspirations of the peoples of these two countries. So depende, tingnan natin. Since we will be meeting next week, hopefully that will be taken either by them or by us or by both.
Joseph,
So what do you mean by meeting them? Do you have a schedule already?
Oh, we're
next-
supposed to be in Beijing, China, right?
Yeah, but for the Belt and Road Forum.
There is always, every time the Philippine government visits a country, there is always a bilateral meeting between the heads of state.
All right, cool.
That is standard.
Okay, sir. When we do talk, when you do go to the bilateral mechanism, are we going to use the arbitral tribunal card in negotiating?
That will be the president's call. Usually, in a bilateral meeting, the host makes an opening statement, and in that opening statement, the host can raise whatever issue he wants. And then the invited visiting head of state responds. In that response, he can raise an issue he wants.
And as far as, for lack of a better term, sir, demands, will the Philippines in that bilateral meeting ask China to move away from our EEZ?
I think
Because
we,
otherwise, we will be just reverting back to the status quo,
I think
where
we-
we can file, but they will not listen.
we have already done that. The Secretary of Foreign Affairs already made a diplomatic protest respecting that.
And we expect China to move away.
We expect them to respond, whatever response they want to
And
give
if they-
us,
and
and
if-
then act accordingly.
And if they don't move away,
Then we will wait for the president's decision. It's his call.
okay, sir.
Sir, ngayon sinasabi nyo you were waiting for China to respond however way they want to respond. But last week, you said that the response ideally should be, the response that you want is for them to get their ships out. And now you're saying you welcome that they responded by saying that it should be settled through negotiation.
Yes.
Parang nagbago po yata yung
Hindi
position.
naman,
Because
ganun-
last
ganun
week
pa
you
rin
wanted
yun.
them out clearly.
Yung response, remember the response of the spokesman was in in answer to my statement. I had a statement eh. In fact, yun ang sinabi niya, this is the response to my statement. And then, after that, nagsalita na naman si Secretary Locsin. And then, nag-issue na naman ako ng bagong statement. But apart from that, merong mga diplomatic protest, Secretary Locsin. Yun ang inaantay natin. Kasi yung response ng spokesman would be different from official response ng counterpart. Pwedeng pareho, pwedeng iba. Hindi kasi pag nag-file ka ng note verbal o diplomatic protest, sasagutin ka officially. Sa dokumento rin eh. Eh yung spokesman, parang ako din yun. Pareho kami spokesman. Nag-express yan ng kanyang statement.
Okay. No, but just dun sa basic idea, sir, that last week you said that the response you want is for them to take the ships away, and now you're saying welcome na rin kahit yung naging response is just to go
Hindi.
back to
Ang
negotiating.
welcome yung negotiation. In other words, doon sa negotiation, you can repeat your demand na move away.
Okay.
Diba? Kasi magiging official na yun eh.
And that's what we are
kasi
going to do.
initially, puro lang tayo salita muna. Wala pang formal eh.
And that's what we're going to do.
Yes.
Reiterate it, that they should go away.
I think that was the statement, or that was the core or the gist of the diplomatic protest of the Secretary of Foreign Affairs.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. May follow-up? Tina Mendez. Microphone, please.
So, sir, President Duterte will bring up this issue during the bilateral meeting.
No, as
next
I
week.
said, depende sa kanya yun. Kasi either or, both, pwede namang i-raise nila yun. Considering na mainit, baka pag-usapan.
During bilateral meeting next week.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Okay, may questions pa, MPC? Other issue? Rosalie Cos?
Good afternoon, sir. Since last 2 weeks ago, the President has been mentioning of firing high-ranking government officials. And then last Saturday night, he mentioned or he criticized MWSS officials about not preparing for the El Nino. So would you know, sir, kung yun pong threat niya has something to do with the MWSS officials?
I have no info on that yet. He said he will be firing officials after the Holy Week. Yan ang sabi niya.
But the palace already received the report of the MWSS about the water crisis in Metro Manila po.
I have no personal knowledge on that. I will ask the executive secretary. May-meeting kami nun. Actually, nag-excuse lang ako. All the cabinet members are having their usual meeting. Yeah. Kanina pa kami. No, but not with the president. Kami lang, cabinet secretaries.
Sir, may we know ano po yung agenda nung...
Wala, the usual performance, kung anong nakaraan, anong mga ginawa, anong response ng tao.
Okay, sir. Thank you po.
MPC questions. Ina, you have? Maricel Halili.
Hi, sir.
Rizal.
Good morning. Sir, the president said in his speech over the weekend that he's considering to create another peace panel.
Alam yung Bisaya.
Yeah.
Hirap na hirap ako magtindi.
Well, based on the transcript, parang he's considering to create another peace panel to talk with the communist rebels. What changed the mind of the president? Kasi, di ba, from the start sinabi niya na no more peace
No,
talk.
if you notice, the president has always made himself open to any talks on peace. Ever since sinasabi niya yun. Di ba palaging sabi niya, bigyan natin ng konting window. Palagi yun ang sinasabi niya.
Pero, so what will happen to the localized peace talks that was earlier
Hindi,
announced?
tuloy pa rin naman yan. Hindi naman mababago yan.
So tuloy ang localized peace talks while there's a peace panel to talk
Wala
with
pa naman eh. Kaya sinabi niya pa lang yan, wala pa siyang kinikreate.
Okay.
It's still an idea.
But I don't think CPP founder Joe Masison likes the idea kasi sinabi
Well, it
niya
doesn't
baka
matter
daw,
whether he likes it or not.
bakit? Sir, yung kakausapin eh. How come it doesn't matter?
Pwede yung mga, yung mga hindi nakikinig sa kanya. Kasi ang feeling namin, hindi siya pinapakinggan eh.
So you believe, sir, that he doesn't have any influence over the members of the CPP anymore?
From the way the ground forces are doing their thing, it appears to me that way.
Okay. And sir, yung sinasabi niya na war panel, yung sabi ni Joe Masison na it seems na war panel yung binububuin ni Presidente and not peace panel.
Eh, hindi ba sinabi na natin, we will ignore him?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Rosalie, follow up? Rosalie Cos.
Sir, sorry, ibalik ko lang po sa meeting niya about cabinet members. Does it have something to do with looming crisis sa energy, water, and as well as food production since...
Actually, that's a regular thing for us. We meet every month.
Sir, how does the government respond to this? Kasi po parang nagkakasabay-sabay na yung nararanasan po ng publiko na meron pong, ngayong week na to, meron pong water shortage or water interruption and meron din pong energy interruption, sir, sa iba't ibang
I was
lugar
just
ng
talking
bansa.
to Secretary Al. Sabi niya, we're on top of it. Yun yan ang sabi niya sa akin kanina.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, MPC, may mga katanungan pa kayo. Nestor Corrales.
Sir, on the peace panel, sabi kasi ni President, he's smiling to create a new peace panel that has more military
Two
representatives.
civilians and
Why, sir?
I will ask him the rationale.
MPC questions. Joseph?
Sir, can I ask you about the Palawan law? The one that divided the Palawan into 3 provinces?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the rationale again?
I think the rationale there, kung ano nakalagay dun sa batas. Kasi when you, yeah, no.
The reason why
I haven't read the law, but every bill, when it is introduced, there is a rationale behind. So I was listening to Governor Alvarez, sabi nila, makakabuti sa kanila yun. Napanood ko sa TV. Kakaroon ng 3 probinsya. At ibig sabihin, bawat mga distrito will be ably represented. Magkakaroon ng mga revenues ang 3 districts. Yan ang sinasabi niya.
Sir, yung, di ba siya, sir, fattening up the bureaucracy? Because you're going to establish another province at least.
Pwede rin.
More.
Oh, even assuming na fattening, but yan kung we will always believe na every creation would be fattening the bureaucracy. Pero every creation nga precisely is to respond to the needs, to the delivery of basic services. Yung problema ng tao dun sa mga lugar na yan.
And sir, of course, May 2020 pa, no? Magiging effective. So right now, it's status quo tayo until 2020. They have to elect. Eh, plebiscite pa pala, sir, no?
Oh, yeah.
Correct. So it's up to the people of Palawan, yes?
Yes.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Okay, may mga tanong pa, MPC. Virgil?
So in relation lang dun sa creation ng 3 new provinces sa Palawan, Senator Risa Ontiveros, she's the lone opposition to the passage of the bill sa Senate. she expressed apprehension that the divided Palawan may strengthen China's position in the West Philippine Sea. Quote ko lang siya, sir. Instead of having to face a single strong provincial government which can mobilize the entire island in its own defense, China will now have the opportunity to infiltrate and influence smaller LGUs. What's the palace response to this?
No connection eh. Kahit naman walang probinsya kung gusto mag-infiltrate ng mga lokong yan eh. I mean, hindi, it doesn't, wala parang wala namang, walang connection naman yun. Di ba? Pwede ko. Kasi politika lang yun dito sa atin.
Okay, MPC, questions? Okay na tayo? Okay, thank you, Secretary Panelo.
Word of endearment yun, yung loko.
Okay, thank you, Secretary Panelo. Thank you, MPC. Back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and People's Television Network.
Ayos, sir. Last something.